these are fascinating projects because once you understand that nearly all firms have, as I said, more or less the same root causes of their pains, then you become more confident also as to how to address them. It's all down to the human condition, you know. It's down to the human condition, how people feel, when people feel insulted, when people feel not appreciated, and how do you navigate these situations? How do you help people communicate more, be more assertive in a productive way, be more empathic, and how do you help the leadership align the expectations of the firm with the efforts of the lawyers and employees?
Welcome to World of Marketing Podcast, a Foster Web Marketing production. Here's your host, Tom Foster.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the World of Marketing, where I, Tom Foster, talk with legal leaders about, yes, you guessed it, marketing mindset and the growth of law firm businesses. Today's guest is Philippos Aristotelous.
Yep.
I got it. Did I get it? I got it. All right. A former law firm partner turned consultant and coach for legal professionals. With over 20 years of experience, Philippos has a unique mission, helping lawyers and partners overcome their fears and truly thrive in their careers. What sets Philippos apart is his signature promise of building marvelous leaders and happier cultures. He's just not advising, he's transforming law firms from the inside out. Whether you're a new attorney, a seasoned partner, or curious about the legal world, you're in for a treat. Philippos, welcome to the show. I'm excited to explore how you've revolutionized the legal profession over there in Cyprus. I've never met anybody from Cyprus, and I'm so delighted to know you, sir.
Thank you for the kind introduction. It's my mission is along the lines you have very aptly outlined.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, sir. Yes, well, we did some research about you. Thank you so much for being on the show. Tell me about yourself.
My journey began in 2004 when I began my legal career as a trainee. I progressed through the ranks and made it to partner in 2012. And I then got promoted to, let's say, a more senior partnership position in 2017. So I went through all the usual hallmarks, the grassroots and the organic way of progressing and developing in the practice plane. I gathered a lot of experience in terms of hard skills, soft skills, I accumulated a lot of knowledge, did a lot of projects, and at some point, roughly around the beginning of 2018, there was a combination of, I suspect, a burnout combined with a need for a change, which led me to exit the position and let's say, the practice, and to channel myself in this new space that I currently work in. So in the space of training, consulting, and coaching, primarily, I would say lawyers, not only, but the nucleus of my focus is the law. Lawyers, legal partners, law firms, on how to help them grow, set goals, and get to where they want to get. So that's what I do in a nutshell.
That's great. Be better leaders, right? Be better leaders, build happy cultures, right?
Absolutely. There is an irony and a paradox there, right? Let me just make a quick segue. So some people call me the happy lawyer. So there is a paradox.
The happy lawyer. I love it.
Happy and lawyer belong in two quite contrasting domains of reality, because the lawyer is preoccupied with order, with must, with should, with prohibition, with restraint, with constraint, with surveillance, with the paranoia of identifying problems, identifying possible pitfalls. So that's not my definition of being happy. That's on the other extreme of the continuum of what I would call happy. But I found that by fortifying the individual, by helping the individual become better equipped with the mindset and the tools that I have to offer, they can at least not fall into the misery trap. So it's easy because lawyers tend to gravitate towards stress, anxiety.
It's bad. It's bad here.
Yeah, they need to be prudent. You know, what is prudence? Prudence, you value and you reward people who are prudent. And prudence, by definition, is the opposite of joyful and relaxed and peaceful. You see, so happy lawyer is a contradiction in terms. But I found that there is a way to become more fulfilled, to grow, to develop defenses which can shield you from the pathologies which are inherent in part in the legal profession.
And how do you do this? Like, how do you work with people? Like, how do you do it? What's your plan?
There is only one path in my estimate, in my view, and this is a path of the path of self-development. And you start by helping the individual understand themselves and understand the human condition to the extent that they are open to subscribe to the help or the coaching or the intervention. Because if you are not voluntarily subscribing to this, it will not work, right? So a coach is like a coaching relationship has to be voluntarily entered into by both sides. So unless the lawyer or the partner identifies a problem and a need for help, my intervention will not bear fruit. So let's assume that there is a diagnosis, inverted commas, and a need for an intervention. We start from there, right? So the lawyer realizes that they need support. How I work is that I help the person create a map. I help them understand how they devote their time. There are some tools that can help people understand how much time they spend in the domains that really matter to every individual, like work, family, friends, exercise, socialization. So I help them build a map initially, right? And I help them see which parts of the map need to be cultivated, or which parts of their profile need to be cultivated more. Let's say somebody is a workaholic and they have zero social activity. That's problematic. It's absolutely, it can be disastrous. Or they have no friends, or no companion, or they are completely inactive fitness-wise. So, okay, that's the life coaching pathway I'm talking about. All right, sure. If I'm talking about lawyers, individuals who need help, this is what I do. I start from doing an X-ray of the individual's habits and ways of spending their time. Okay.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So you get into their heads. You help them out that way.
Yeah, because it's easy to get hooked to work alone, but sooner or later that will destroy you. That's my experience. So that's how I begin working with lawyers, and then we said the idea is once you have the X-ray and you see which aspects of the lawyer's life are lacking, then you set goals. Okay, I need to compensate for the lack of physical activity by enrolling in a gym. You set goals which you observe weekly, let's say, and the client undertakes to do certain things. Or maybe the lawyer has problems with their partner. They feel that they are a slave to their partner. They never say no. That's so common. You know, you have this dependency dynamics where the dominant personalities simply demolish more agreeable ones. So how do you help them? An agreeable person will never become the opposite, but you can help them expand the periphery of their personality. How do you do it? You set a goal to say no from time to time, to be more assertive.
Right.
So you identify the lackings and the problems and the limitations of the individual, and you set goals together which aim to meaningfully help them expand the areas which are atrophic and need development. So that's in a very quick nutshell. Inevitably, you need an X-ray and a plan, which involves goals that will help them flourish and expand in ways where they need help. Now, if you allow me to talk about the corporate intervention, or you can interrupt me anytime, and if I go off-road, feel free to bring me back.
No, please. This is your time, sir. Please go ahead.
So this is the one-on-one, let's say, individual approach. X-ray, then we jointly agree on a map of actions, goals, and then weekly or bi-weekly, we follow on the plan. Okay, that's the individual. An example may be that Tom undertakes, let's say you are a partner now, right? And you feel insecure about your ability to handle the team, right? So you need assertiveness training, so to speak. So one of your goals for the next week, for example, to grow your confidence may be, okay, I will convene a meeting for my team and I will delegate things to them. It can be as simple as that. And then in the next meeting with me, you will tell me how that goal went. So you convene the meeting with your colleagues. You told them about the problems. You did what you had to do. How did you feel? Better, worse? You get the idea. You set goals which have to be implemented in the office. It's not like talking about spirituality and these things. You have to apply what you set as a goal in the space of your practice. That's how we do the one-on-one individual coaching. Now, on the group coaching or the consulting side of things, the way I approach my business is I go to a firm, I talk to the founders or the partners or the CEO, and normally the way the pain that is communicated to me normally is something along the lines of people are not engaged, people leave, there is a high turnover rate, the junior partners do not communicate well with the senior partners, there are intergenerational gaps and mismatches of expectations. People do not have the appetite to take more difficult cases, but they complain that they are not trusted with more senior positions. So this is like a catch-22. The productivity takes a hit. And how I normally enter and how the firm normally benefits in those cases is that, once again, there is an X-ray on an organizational level. The firm introduces me as a consultant, then I get like a surgeon. Again, with my team, we do interviews of everyone or of the team that has the problem, one-on-one interviews, which is normally preceded by questionnaires to identify issues, motivation levels, procedures not working and creating bottlenecks, all sorts of things. So there is a culture X-ray there. And then we build a map of the organization and the problems. And what I do then is that I make recommendations to the leadership as to how to solve those problems. Fundamentally, and I'm going to give you back the microphone now. Fundamentally, in the last 10 years, let's say 6 years to be more precise, the root causes of most problems have to do with people not feeling appreciated, people not understanding what they have to do to be appreciated, and an inability to effectively navigate interpersonal relationships in the workplace. These are the three things that I think lie at the core of most problems I encounter in firms. Should I repeat them?
No, that's good.
Okay.
This is great. And so, like, you've been very busy though recently, right? I mean, you deliver workshops all the time, right? You've done some workshops.
Yep,
Is that what you're talking about when you go into a firm?
You go into the firm, you do the culture X-ray, so you get information.
You're calling it a cultural X-ray? Wow.
Yeah, that's what I call it. So I make an X-ray or of the culture. I understand the key problems, key dynamics.
It's amazing to me that they let you do this.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
Right.
Listen, first of all, it's difficult to get such projects because how do you sell them and what's the tangible benefit that they get? It's not easy to promise something that will not sound completely BS. And secondly, how do you get people to open up?
Right.
You know, lawyers are very suspicious and they are very sometimes elitist. Who is this guy to tell us what to do? So if it wasn't for my former background as somebody who was a well-established lawyer and partner in a very big firm in Cyprus, no way they would open the door to me. Firstly,
Right.
and secondly, no way they would open themselves to me, to the extent that they do, because they don't go 100%. Anyway, no one goes 100%. There is suspicion, there is disbelief.
Sure.
And so you have to win over you have to help people understand that, first of all, your intention is good. You are not like an agent sent to spy and to
Right.
Secondly, they have to be, you have to be credible in what you bring to the table. These are fascinating projects because once you understand that nearly all firms have, as I said, more or less the same root causes of their pains, then you become more confident also as to how to address them. It's all down to the human condition, It's down to the human condition, how people feel, when people feel insulted, when people feel not appreciated, and how do you navigate these situations? How do you help people communicate more, be more assertive in a productive way, be more empathic? And how do you help the leadership align the expectations of the firm with the efforts of the lawyers and employees? It sounds simple. It's like one-on-one.
Well, I agree. It sounds simple, and it's great that you're doing that, and you're taking your 20 plus years of experience, and that they're respecting that, and they're allowing that. So I'm curious, Philippos, how do you get business? Is it a referral, word of mouth? What is it?
That's a great question. I love the segue because it clearly touches on your orientation and the podcast's orientation, which is a great segue into what I will say now. Well, how I get business is a combination of prospecting efforts on my part and digital content. Like, of course, it's like a dance between the two. So on the digital side, on the online effort side, I heavily invest in my LinkedIn presence. I have a weekly, I'm going to tell you the bare bones of what I do, okay? So I have a LinkedIn, of course, profile, a LinkedIn weekly newsletter that I publish. I think I published like 75 editions so far. So It's like, it's something that it keeps me engaged. Like it's not easy.
You're very active on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I'm active on LinkedIn. I post things, I comment under people I care about, in terms of prospecting. And I am very alert and vigilant, and I will tell you what I mean. So I have a very active for my standards, LinkedIn presence, which I also connect to my website. So anyway, I have an active LinkedIn presence and a website. And what I do is, in Cyprus, the word of mouth helps a lot. I observe what, let's say, my target clients do. And when there is an opportunity, I reach out to them, let's say, and I tell them there are things to talk about. I know you're going through a merger, or I know that now with this new law about banking regulation, I know you need to hire new people compliance people. And I have experience as to how compliance people who are very conservative in their approach can create friction in the process of lawyers who want to get things out very quickly. So let's have a chat. I will tell you some ideas if you want. Okay, it sounds very cold and pushy, but it's not like that. It has to be made in a courteous, I can tell you more about it. So it's a combination of writing things, studying, and finding entry points for knocking doors. Right. You don't want to be like out of the blue. Can I meet you to tell you what I do? That's completely. It's right. Okay, but 95% of the time I get no reply at all. I've tested it. There has to be. I've watched you in a conference. I saw your I was in a conference. I heard your speech in the Cyprus Legal Annual Conference. I think that your speech on the challenges that the AI ecosystem poses on data protection was spot on. And I have some ideas, and I'll be very happy to have a coffee with you. And almost always I get a reply because your target feels that you care about them.
Right. You're doing it very customized.
I've tested it many times. I've tested it so many times. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, that's good. I love it. What you're doing. That's exactly right. Content marketing is what you're doing. You know, you're putting your out there and speaking, and also you have a book you just published, right? Last year, The Marvel of Happiness.
Yeah. The Happy Lawyers. Yeah. The Marvel of Happiness.
Happy Lawyers. Right. That's great. That's your second book.
Yeah, it's the second edition of the second book. So that's a book that I also use to get into firms. Like I use it in certain workshops I do for team building and culture enhancement, which is it's helpful, especially now because in Cyprus, with the war in Russia and the war in Ukraine, not in Russia anyway. So, and some other negative developments in the legal industry, like the erosion of tax advantages of Cyprus and so on. There are problems, there are frictions, it's difficult to keep people happy and engaged. So I find that people need something that will give them an uplifting, let's say, touch in a productive way and meaningful way. So I do something that has a combination of team building, mindset, and culture alignment, which then, if I get the project, that will hopefully allow me to meet the people, identify problems, and then propose other solutions to work with the leaders, work with the managers, help them recruit an HR person. So I try to, so you always need an entry point, right? You have to be mindful as to how you can gain an entry point in an organization, whatever that entry point may be, you know. And for me, I find that, and this book, I'm talking about these things because you mentioned the books. I give the Marvel of Happiness, irrespective of the fact that the title may sound irrelevant to law, it's not. So I use that book as a guide for the workshops I do for how to build a happier culture. So I use it as a guide. Many of the things I talk about in the culture enhancement programs are in the book. And then once I do that, I get to meet the leaders, and hopefully often I do other things to them as well. So the book is a great marketing tool.
Right.
As long as it's a good book.
Yeah, right.
Because you don't want to, check it out. Yeah, no, I mean, whatever book you use. I think my book is good. It's a second edition to it, based on feedback I received, but it's also good for it's like an amplified business card. So if I come and meet you, you are the managing partner of a law firm, okay? So if I come and I am introduced to you, my experience shows that if I give you a book, you will hold me most likely in higher esteem, because for whatever it's worth, to have managed to write and publish a book says something. It gives a note of affirmation.
Yeah, you got a great website too.
Well, now you can write a book with ChatGPT, but okay, that's a temptation. I am still deflecting. ChatGPT is really good, actually. If you want to talk about that, it helps me a lot. Not in writing books. I wrote the book on my own, but ChatGPT, I'm just it's a train of thought.
I use Claude.
Okay.
Claude is my preferred AI friend.
Okay.
You ever use Claude?
What's Claude? I don't know.
Check it out. Claude.ai.
Right.
I think it's better than ChatGPT.
It's conversational. It's a large language model too.
Yep. You just type in what you want and it pumps it out. Claude.
Yeah,
CLAUDE.
I'll make a note here. Okay, good.
Very good. Well, what do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun? Well, I go out with my wife and kids. I have 3 kids. I keep
How old are your kids?
My elder son is almost 11. My daughter is 8, and my younger son is almost 6.
Oh, so, what a great time then for
I know
you with them. That is wonderful.
It's
I have 5 kids.
5 kids. Wow.
But they're grown. I mean, they're 34, 32, 30, 16, and 13.
34.
Yeah. And then I have 3 grandkids.
I'm not even going to ask you how old you are. You look very young.
Oh, thank you so much, sir. No, I'm 57.
57.
Yeah, I just look good for my age, buddy. That's it.
I think it's the music and the guitars.
It's all the music in me.
And the podcast as well.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Keeping active and keeping productive and doing things that, engaging things, creative things. I think there is something there. There must be something.
Yeah. And I stay in shape. I work out and exercise and stay in shape and eat right for the most part, and just try to take care of myself, right?
Absolutely. I need to do more of that as well.
Well, it seems like you are. Just keep spending time with those kids. That's great. Good for you. Raising your family like that. So how many law firms have you worked with in this capacity?
Let me tell you. Let me make a quick calculation. So since 2018 that I left the law firm I was a partner at, I would suspect that it should be more than 10. It doesn't sound a lot, but it depends on
how long does it take? I mean, I'm sure it takes a while to do this, like to work with them. How long does a contract usually take?
Well, I would say on average is 6 months to 1 year.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to get in there, man. You got to get in there. Like you're dissecting them. Lots of people.
Have to get in there with a retainer, and there has to be a plan, because you cannot, for example, you have to have a long-term plan as to what you're going to do. A very quick example. How do you market? How do you sell this? You sell it, for example, by telling the firm that what you would help them do is to build the annual, let's say, performance management system. So you agree that on January, you will meet with the people to understand the culture. You make your notes, then you create the KPIs or the goals of the firm, which you will then help them customize to each department, and you will then do a test drive by the middle of the year. Let's say in June, you make, let's say, an official appraisal or review, and the final review will take place at the end of the year. So this makes sense. You have to market your services in a chronological structure that allows you to sell your services on a retainer base. And then on a monthly basis, you charge them, yes, and then within the course of that year, you also sell educational or training programs like sales for staff, communication for leaders, team building, presence, developing presence, public speaking. So you have to have a long-term arc
Right.
to get in the firm on a retainer basis, and then to have micro projects introduced in the long-term arc, like workshops, trainings, this, that. But it takes time to develop these sort of things and to veer away from the one-off things, because okay, a one-off workshop is still great because it gives you an entry point, but you cannot do only this. You have to have the ability to generate long-term revenue to sustain yourself. It's not enough to say, I'm going to do a public speaking once every 3 months, or this. You cannot sustain yourself like that. It's the usual consultants' challenges and issues, how to get long-term income streams.
For sure.
The books, okay, I don't live out of my books, but I use them strategically to get clients and to sell workshops primarily.
Very good. Is there anything that you'd like to offer the audience that's listening? Anything?
Wow, thank you. So kind of you. Listen, what I can say is that I have accumulated, I believe, a very valuable degree of experience over the past 6-7 years, and to add also the 16 prior years that I was actually doing the work. So my combined 20 years of experience places me in a position where I feel really passionate about doing what I do. So if any of the listeners would like to explore the possibility of helping their teams and their firms develop healthier and happier cultures, to use my motto, they can reach out, and I would be very happy to talk to them.
Yes, and the website is Philarist.com. That's PHILARIST.com.
Absolutely.
Yep. And it's a great website, everybody. It's got lots of information. He's put a lot of content. I'm happy that he's got such a great website. So good job there, Philippos.
Thank you so much.
My new friend from Cyprus. Well, Philippos, it's been an honor and a pleasure speaking with you today, my friend. And I always love meeting new people and making new friends, and especially what a treat, somebody from Cyprus. I've never met anybody from Cyprus before, so
always a first time.
Yes, thank you so much. And you keep writing music. Get back to writing music, right?
I think that's my wake-up call.
There you go. That'll make you happy too, right? Okay, everybody. It's been Tom and Philippos on the World of Marketing. We'll see you later.
Take care. Thank you so much.